So the first tool that we're going to look at today is Google Jamboard. And in order to access a Jamboard, you could just go to the waffles that are up in the corner here. Obviously not here because we're already in Jamboard. And you scroll down and Jamboard should be in your list of Google tools. So here I've got multiplying fractions. If I wanted to rename that, I could just click on it just like most other Google documents, or I could rename it over here. So here I've got a blank Jamboard, and I can change the background from plain white to dots, square, lines, squares, and graph paper, or blue or black if I wanted to use like a chalkboard. Here we've got the writing tool. So we've got a pen, a marker, a highlighter, and a brush, and then some different colors here. So there's white right here. Don't know if you can see it or not. We've got an eraser, and if we've got a lot of information on here that we want to get rid of and we don't want to go through the hassle of just, erasing, we can just clear the frame. We've got the select tool, the sticky note tool, and you can change the colors of your sticky notes, or you could just have it be clear in the background. And I'll show you that in a second. You can add images, so we can go in here and you can upload from your computer. You can do an image search, just pull in from your Google Drive, or if you've got photos. So up here, you can add frames. So if you click on that, you can just add a new frame, or you can go up here and you can duplicate. And it's sort of what I've done all along here. Now, this was the sticky note option. So I added in a sticky note and made it pink. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can assign this little problem to different groups of students in Google Classroom, or students, you can work on it on the board with the students. So say, for example, you shared it in Classroom, you could make a copy for every student in the group, and they could collaborate on it together. So if you had them working on it together, you might actually see something going on here, and say that they were going to maybe draw a cake. You could see them drawing on it right away, or we could just undo that and get rid of it. So then I put the cake in there for them, but like I said, they could go in and they could search it. Now they would have to go through the problem and figure out what information was important. They could underline it, or they could highlight it, and then they could mark up the image as well. And then they would just resubmit this in Google Classroom if you've assigned it to them in that way. So the next tool that we're going to look at is Edpuzzle, and it's a video annotation tool, not collaborative, but you can have little formative assessments. You can launch discussions with the video-based or the video-supported learning, and you can pull videos in from various places. So if you've got the extension, the Google extension up here, and you go to YouTube, say, for example, you'll see that there's a little edit with Edpuzzle, and if you click on that, it will actually pull it into Edpuzzle for you. And you can start annotating it, and it'll save it into your content. So you can actually crop it if it's a little bit too long, or you can add a video, or you can add your own voice, or you can add questions, and you can add questions anywhere along. So say we watched, into a minute of the video, and you wanted to insert a note, you could insert just an audio note, or you could just type something in so that it popped up on the screen. You could add multiple choice or open-ended questions, and with the multiple choice, you can give feedback to, if they say, for example, they got the right question, bravo, bien fait, or if they got the wrong answer, you could type in a little bit of feedback that it would give them when they've answered the question. They would see that. So Edpuzzle, one of the great things is that up here it's got my classes, and it still has my class from last year, so I won't go in there because it's got the student names in there, but you can actually import your class roster from Google Classroom. And when you do that and you link it to your classroom, you can actually assign directly from Edpuzzle into Google Classroom. And once the students have completed their video assignment, it will actually update their mark directly in Google Classroom. If you go back in and you edit their mark for whatever reason, say you had some short answer questions that you had to correct for them, and you went in and you corrected them and gave them marks, it would then update in Google Classroom. It would fix the marks for you directly in Google Classroom. So it's video-based learning does help support and gauges students a little bit more than just sort of watching the video or not having a video at all. So finally, the last tool that we're going to look at is Padlet. And Padlet is a collaborative online bulletin board. And there are different layouts that you can do. You can create up to 8 Padlets with the free version, but you can also archive your Padlets, and they don't count towards your 8 pads. So here, for example, we had 6-word memoirs that we were working on expressive writing in using just 6 words. And the students were tasked also with finding an image or a GIF that would sort of enhance their writing. So Alexis wrote, "Mom said there's food at home," and then her GIF is a little girl crying because obviously it's not the food that she wants. But over here, this dog is super thrilled that his pizza rolls are done. So, and it was only 6 words. So it makes it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun. And some of the things that you can do, or you can change the format, as I said, so you can have Canvas sort of kind of goes all over the place, a stream. So it would be a little bit more like a Twitter feed or an Insta feed. There's grid view, there's shelf view, back channel. So if you want to have like a back channel discussion, you could use this Padlet as a tool for that. Mapping and timelines, if you want to do timelines in history or something like that, you can do that. And then the options to share, you can copy a link, you can share, email it, share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share on Google Classroom, which is also great, and then export it as an image, a PDF. Now, the other thing is you can invite members, and you can also change it so that it's private, or you can have it password protected and then just give the password to your students. So you can see here that I've got little hearts and comments. Now I've made it so that only I can comment, but you can let these students make comments themselves, and you can moderate so that there's not that risk of someone saying something that maybe could be misconstrued or hurtful. So there's that. And then there are different options, but the liking is probably the best. You don't really want students rating each other because that could open up the possibility of bullying. So there's a lot of control, teacher control, but students can make their own Padlets as well. If they wanted to use it as a blog or a place to just as an e-portfolio, that would be another thing.